Hello and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter, and it looks like I'm having some technical problems on Facebook. It says that we're live, but there isn't a video, and I don't know why. I'm going to try and troubleshoot. Hello, Rochelle. So glad that you're here. Hello, Patricia. If you can hear me on Facebook, but you don't see a video, join us on YouTube. Living Water Quilter. Look for Living Water Quilter YouTube channel. Hello, Cassie. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. How is everyone? It's been a minute since we've been together. Hopefully, you caught the schedule. May and June are kind of topsy-turvy because I have a lot of events happening. May is now done. Today's the last day of May. June, I also have some additional events happening where I had to readjust the Quilt Conversations live schedule. So make sure you are either on my email list or you are tuned in to notifications on YouTube to know what those dates are, or visit my website, the homepage. It has all the current dates on it. So maybe you saw this beautiful quilt during the countdown with a silhouette on a pink background. Did you notice that it said quilted by Rochelle? Yes, Rochelle Cole. She is one of my students in the alphabet design course, and she is an amazing quilter. She doesn't think so, but I do. Sometimes we are so close to our own abilities and skills that we can doubt that we have skills and ability because we know where we want to go. We want to go far. And if we're on the beginning of our journey, the middle of our journey, and we know how far we want to go, it seems like maybe we're not making progress until someone else sees our work and recognizes our progress. Because when we're right in the middle, it seems like it's going so slow that we're not progressing. Rochelle is smiling. Yes, Rochelle, I'm talking about you. I am so excited, and this is the theme of tonight's Quilt Conversations Live. It's about free motion quilting and how it can be easy if we practice a few things. If we practice a few things that we do over and over again, free motion quilting can become as easy as ABC. Now, while I was away in May, I missed the third week, right, of Quilt Conversations Live. That's why we're here on this final Friday of the month. I went to Louisiana to a group called Crescent City Quilters. It's a quilt guild in New Orleans, and we had a fabulous time. Let me show you a little video if you haven't seen it. It was about learning free motion quilting and then taking what we practice and learning how to put it in a quilt. And our project was a half Lone Star quilt. I brought several of my half Lone Stars for inspiration. We went over techniques on how to place designs in the quilt. It was a fabulous time. Let me loop this again, play it again. We had so much fun, and ladies learned a lot. The session, it was a full day, was jam-packed. You know how I like to share so that women quilters can win at quilting their own projects. I want you to quilt your own projects if that's your desire, and how to do that creatively without frustration, without panic, without struggling. We don't want to struggle. Now, of course, there are challenges and we can overcome those challenges. And I hope that I have offered and continue to offer solutions for some of those challenges so that we can all win at free motion quilting. So we had a great time. And I think this part, I'm going to stop the video just at one part. What you're seeing now is each student had those that had the half Lone Star. They didn't have to have it at the end of the class. I'm going to stop it there. But what we did on the second half of the class, we laid out our half Lone Stars, and then we, after inspiration and discussing about how to place designs in a quilt, we then did some practical exercises. And they would preview designs using a plexiglass, and then they would take a photo with their phone. Then they would try another thing based on the tips and techniques that I shared. And then each student had an opportunity to chat about why they chose a particular design. What was their inspiration? What did they want to achieve? Which ones were they comfortable with? What were they going to try that was new to push their skills to the next level? The only way to get better is to actually do it, right? So we have to take those new things and put them into practice. And so each student had a chance to talk that out loud with the help of other students listening in and offering suggestions or getting inspiration from their fellow classmates. So I really enjoyed this part of the class, and I think they did too. We really had a fun time. So one of the things that we did discuss, I'm going to check on Facebook again just for a minute. I'm going to refresh my computer. I have a laptop that's here, and it is not connecting. So I'm not sure what to do here other than to tell ladies to join me here on YouTube. I hope they make it over. It says live. There's only about 3 people watching. Let's see. Let me go back for a moment. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to go back to my Facebook page. Oh, look. Okay, it is live. Yay. All right, great. Yay. I think I was just in a loop. All right, so I can see on Facebook now too. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you. All right. So the morning part of the class, and this is where the ABC comes in. Well, it's both parts. But when we hear ABCs, how many of you raise your hand? Let us know in the chat. That's how you raise your hand in Quilt Conversations Live. Do you remember that when you were in grade school, kindergarten, first grade, that's what I think about when I hear ABCs. I think the beginning of something, the elementary part. So the elementary part for free motion quilting has to be what? Our machine. Our machine. Our machine has to be set up in such a way that it's not a hindrance to free motion quilting. So the first thing we need to know, really, we need to know our machine. So that's what we did in this class, and I do this with every free motion class. We need to be able to set up our machine for success. That means you need to know how your machine operates. You need to know how to wind bobbins correctly. You need to know about needles and thread. You need to know, do you have to drop your feed dogs for free motion? What does your manual say? That's the first thing, very first thing. Coming to a class without knowing how to operate your machine is not a good decision, because you're setting yourself up for being behind in the class rather than being in the class and learning free motion. So know how your machine works, how to wind a bobbin, how to load a bobbin, how to how to thread your machine, all of that. I know it sounds elementary, and that's why it's ABC, but sometimes we take that for granted. And so before every class, and if you weren't here a couple of weeks ago, I did do a session on how to get the most out of an in-person class. So if you want more information about that, go check that out on my YouTube channel. So, I don't know, my website on Facebook. Can you still see me on Facebook? Let me know in the chat because mine is like really, it's a blank screen now. This is the first time I've ever experienced this. I'm not sure what's going on here. Anyway, I'll continue. So that's number one. Hey Lois, how are you? Nice to have you here. So that's the first thing, your machine. And then take time. If you are serious about learning free motion quilting, the second secret is needles and thread. Secret number one is knowing your machine. Secret number two, learning about needles and thread. There's a lag on YouTube. I'm not sure why that is. Let's see. What can I check? Let me see. I'm just checking something really quick here. My stream settings are all at the normal settings. I'm just checking the background technical stuff. I'm still on Facebook, including video. Thank you, Patricia, for letting me know. All right. So that being said, we said machine setup, know your machine, clean, ready. Second, needles and thread. Take time to learn about both. Don't take for granted that you know about needles. Even if you've been quilting for a long time, but you haven't taken time to learn about it, it's worth the effort. It's going to help you be more creative and eliminate so many problems. The third thing is tension. I know, I just said a bad word. I just said a bad word. A lot of ladies are afraid of tension, but you must learn how to control your tension. Okay, thank you for checking in, Patricia. I really appreciate that. So check where you can. One of my biggest recommendations is to go to superiorthreads.com. They have an education center. They have downloadable diagrams about tension. They have information about needles and thread. I love Superior Threads. I use a lot of their threads for my projects. And I love their education on both needles and thread. You will be more successful when you learn about those things. How to do the right combination of thread weight to needle size and needle type. You must learn that. You will not have an opportunity in a 6-hour class to learn that extensively when you're there to learn free motion quilting. So the more you know ahead of time, the more successful your class will be. Okay, tension is the other thing, because I know a lot of us get concerned with stitch regulation and stitch length and how the thread looks. So the first thing is, before you even consider regular stitch length, if you don't have a stitch regulator, is tension. Learn how to adjust tension on your machine. And the best way to do it is just spend time practicing setting the tension. See what happens when you increase the thread tension, the top thread tension. See what happens when you lower the top thread tension. And that the more you do that, the more you will become comfortable. Because one, if you know that right now your tension is working, you're piecing, no problem. You switch over your machine to free motion quilting, and then you decide to purposely increase your tension, the top tension, and see what happens. See how the top thread and the bottom thread respond to an increased top tension. The more you do that, when you do have problems, you'll be able to look at it and know, oh, the top tension is too high. Mm-mm. Yes, yes, Crystal. Tension can be very finicky, and there are different things that can influence our thread tension. And one is our bobbin tension, which we usually do not touch. We only adjust our top tension. And we want to make sure that our thread is not having problems feeding to the machine. We want to make sure that we have a better relationship with tension, and that means knowing how to adjust it. And another thing that is important, I don't know if your eyes are like mine, but I need to use a magnifying glass to check my tension. So go to your favorite hobby store or hardware store, or go online and look for a lighted magnifying glass. A magnifying glass that has a light on it, and check the tension that way. I can't see if the tension is really good with just my eyes alone. So those are the three things: machine setup, needles and thread, and tension. Those are things that you can learn how to do even before you start free motion quilting. Okay? Then, once you have those, you're going to learn how to set up your machine for free motion. And let me make a just a quick caveat here that I've learned over time. Not every machine is made for free motion quilting. It doesn't mean it can't do free motion. It might do a okay job at free motion, but some machines are perfect for free motion quilting. They're made for it. And one type of machine is a straight stitch machine, meaning it only does straight stitches. It does not do a zigzag. It doesn't do decorative stitching. It does only one type of stitch, a straight stitch. The needle only goes up and down. It does not move left and right. Those machines are fantastic for piecing quilts and for quilting quilts. A lot of ladies have these machines. Some of them are by Juki, by Brother. Some of them are really good machines if you want to quilt your own quilts. Now, we all know a lot of quilts are quilted by what? Long arms. Long arms, whether they're on a table or on a frame. What kind of machines are those? Are they zigzag machines? Are they straight stitch? Let us know in the chat. What kind of machine is a long arm machine? Straight stitch or zigzag? Why does it do such a fabulous job at free motion quilting? Is it a straight stitch machine or is it a zigzag machine? Now, again, I have a home machine that has decorative stitching, it has zigzag stitching, and I can do free motion quilting successfully. That's right, Madonna, it is a straight stitch. And so we get beautiful stitching with long arm machines. It's not to say that other domestic machines that are zigzag machines can't do it, but some are made specifically for that. And when I personally got a machine that was made, a home machine made for free motion quilting, it included all the feet for free motion. It exponentially improved my free motion quilting. So sometimes we think it's us. I've learned how to set up my machine. I learned about needles and thread. I learned about tension, but I'm still struggling with free motion. Could it be the machine? Could it be the machine? Yes, Barbara, straight stitch machine. Yes, Rochelle, your Q20 is a straight stitch. Beautiful stitches with straight stitch machines. Okay, so I just want to make sure I share that with you, because if you're struggling with free motion and you have all those other things, maybe it's the machine. Okay, now the other thing in terms of machines is that if you're a prolific quilter, you make quilts for charity, you make quilts for every niece, nephew, granddaughter, graduation, christenings, you make seasonal quilts, you make bed quilts, you make all kinds of things. You are a prolific quilter. Some of the machines are not made for us. Us who make quilts 10, 15, 20 quilts a year. We will, and I have worn out a machine. It just, I didn't abuse the machine. I just made a lot of quilts, and it just, the stitches just didn't look good after a while. Hey, Stephanie, thank you. Yes, straight. You got it. Hey, so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. So, now that I've talked about those very important basics, right? Hopefully some of you are going to go and look at your machine. Either you're going to take out the manual and you're going to get to know your machine better, or you're going to go get some more information about needles and thread and tension. You're going to learn about tension, or maybe you are thinking about, do I need to get another machine? Do I need to start saving? When I knew I needed another machine, I purchased a used machine, right? That's what I did so that I could be more successful at free motion. Hey, welcome, Suzanne. So glad that you're here. Yes, welcome, everyone. So, let me share with you what I mean by ABC. You see these designs right here? All of these designs, except for the center is acrylic ruler quilted, which is guided free motion quilting. But the designs around the circle on the outside are all based on characters from the alphabet, the shapes in the alphabet, the ABCs. So the ABC of quilting is one, doing the basics. Like when we were in grade school, we had to learn the basics of the alphabet before we could read. Before we can do free motion, we need to know the basics of our machine, thread, needles, and our machine setup. Now we are ready to start free motion quilting because we set up our machine for free motion. But many of us struggle with what to stitch, what pattern to stitch. The first thing I always encourage beginners to do is meander. And that's just random curves along a quilt sandwich. You do that over and over and over again, and do it again and again and over again. The more you meander, the better you will become. You will become a good stitch regulator if you practice your meander, practice your speed, practice starting, practice stopping, practice stitching slow, practice stitching fast, medium. All of this in a meander practice. Before I stitch any quilt, I warm up. I'm like an athlete. We are quilting athletes. We should warm up. Take a quilt sandwich and warm up with meander. A whole fat quarter or half of a fat quarter, warm up. What is that going to do? That's one, going to check to make sure the machine sounds right. Is she humming along? Does she sound happy? Is the thread breaking? How's my tension? I'm using my gloves or whatever tool I need to make the meander pattern. That allows me to make sure my machine is happy and everything is in working order. It's like penmanship. I just hope it doesn't take me that long to learn. Well, Madonna, free motion quilting, like anything else, is a skill that's developed over time. But the more we do it, meaning not just doing it once in a while, meaning frequently. We can't start and then stop. Start today and then not do it again for 3 months. 3 months from now, it's going to feel like you're starting over. So every 3 months, you're going to feel like you're at the very beginning. But if we increase our frequency of practice, you will see improvements little by little by little by little. The more you do it, the more you improve. The more quilts you do, and that's why I always encourage ladies to practice in real quilts. Don't wait till you reach a certain point to quilt a quilt. That's why it's always a good idea to, in every quilt, incorporate something you already know, something new, and something that you're learning, that you're practicing, so that you're always getting better. So I'm always learning. There's always new designs to learn. So with that said, I want to share with you an example of someone, and that would be Rochelle. She's on YouTube. She's in the chat on YouTube. Rochelle is a student of my alphabet design course, ABCs. The reason why I encourage ladies to start with that is because it removes some of the pressure that we feel to learn a specific design. Our hand memory is already incorporated. We already have the alphabet in our muscle memory. So if we already have that in our muscle memory, that's one less thing that we have to learn, if that makes sense. That's one less thing that we feel pressure in terms of a pattern. And the reason I say that is because if you've seen those stencils where you use the pounce pad and then you have to follow the design, I couldn't do that as a beginner. I could not follow a line because I had not learned the hand movements to be able to control the stitching to follow that design. My hands did not have that muscle memory of moving in certain directions. So by using the alphabet, my muscle memory is already in my hands. I know how to make an A. I know how to make a U. It makes it easier to learn free motion. And that's with my alphabet drill. So Rochelle is in that class. And she has been an amazing student, practicing, making many quilts. She is also listed on my website with the alphabet design drills. We take the characters and shapes of the alphabet to create different designs. So what you see stitching now is really the letter D. If you think about the letter D, capital letter D, I'm making small ones, medium, and big letter D's, but they're just all on top of each other. This is the letter C, cursive, like Madonna mentioned, cursive letters. Then we just change a little bit on the C, how we make it. We change the scale of it, and I teach this all in the class. You watch the videos, I talk about it, you practice. This is all a part of the design drills. Going through different letters in the alphabet one by one and practicing. It is going to improve your hand movement with fabric under a needle. This is what the alphabet course does. Now, I share this because remember earlier I shared the video of the class I gave a few weeks ago in New Orleans. For those of you who are just joining us, I'll put that back up on the screen as I talk about it. Several of the ladies, for the designs that I taught in the class, some of them were based on the alphabet. And they were like, wow, this is great. Do you have an online course so that I can continue learning? And I said, yes, there's the alphabet design class. And so as they realized the hand movements for the designs I was teaching were based on hand movements they already knew, they were excited. So I wanted to come on in this session for those who have signed up. So several ladies signed up for the class, and we have some new students, and hopefully some of you are watching. If not, you're watching the replay. I wanted to go specifically to the website to show you what's included in the class, and so that you can walk through it. The alphabet class specifically has lessons that you start at the top and you go one by one by one. Don't skip. Start at the top and go to the next one below, and then the next one below. Let's take a look. So when you go to the website, you're going to look under courses, and then you click on free motion right underneath me, free motion quilting, the alphabet design course. So I'm going to click on that. You get a little video intro, a couple of video intros, and then I tell you about the different things that you're going to learn. Secret 1, Secret 2, 3, and 4. But if you keep scrolling, because a lot of ladies who are watching my reels on Instagram and YouTube, and they comment the word alphabet or ABC, they are coming to this page and they are saying, do I want to start this journey of ABC quilting, free motion quilting made easy? So right here under intro and helpful tips, it has 12 lessons. I'm going to click on that so that you can see what those lessons are. The very first thing you're going to notice is a little bubble, a circle, and it's going to tell you what it is. And if there's a little video camera, that means there's a video. So the first video is the 10 steps to stress-free machine quilting. It's a condensed version to talk about all the things you want to consider when you want to free motion quilt, machine quilt your own projects. The next thing are the tools, my favorite tools for free motion quilting. I go through that. Then there's a video on what? Needles and thread. Remember? Needles and thread. And then more specific tools that I use to help me have a successful machine setup. So even before you start stitching designs, I'm helping you with tools so that you can be successful, whether it's gloves, gliders, needles and thread, your quilt sandwiches, and my other free motion quilting tips. And then, of course, at the end, lesson number 12 is free motion warm-up. And I give a little demo on how to warm up and why that's important. Once we go through the first 12 to get us all ready and set up, and I encourage you, for those of you who have signed up recently, I think I've had like 10 more people sign up in the last 2 weeks. It's important to go through these 10 steps. 12 steps. Because I'm setting you up for success. If you do this, it's going to happen automatically. Automatically, I do these things now. I don't have to get my checklist. In the beginning, you're going to have a checklist. But as you do these, every single time you set up, it's going to be automatic. It's like cooking your favorite dish. You know exactly what ingredients you need. You start pulling out the seasoning and the spices and other things that you need, the cooking pan, the oil, whatever it is that you use for that dish, you know exactly what you need. Same thing here. It's a recipe for success. Then you start with the stitch path, which is a download that you would download to start your alphabet drills. And that's under the alphabet design patterns, 11 lessons. So I'm going to uncollapse that. And so you can see for exercises, there are drills for different letters in the alphabet. And it's all video-based tutorials, video-based. I will share with you exactly what I do and why I do it and how it's going to help you to eventually try designs based on those drills. So now, for those of you that are in the class that haven't handed in assignments, this is your opportunity to do the drills, to learn the new designs, and then submit examples so that I can help you if you're having any problems. It's so important to do that. So you go from learning new designs to then designs for sashing and borders, and then you start to create your own designs. So that is why it's so important to go through the course step by step, step by step. And someone who has gone through it several times, Rochelle, how many times? I know at least twice. How many times have you gone through the course since you got it a few years ago? Let us know. I think it's at least 3 times. Hey, Sunny, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. Rochelle has gone through the course at least, I'm going to say 3 times. I know for certain 2 because she knows the benefit. And I decided in late December, early January, that I want to give Rochelle a special assignment because I could see her growth. But I can also see that she didn't have as much confidence that I knew, as much confidence as she should have, because she's a good quilter. She thinks she's okay, but she's good. She doesn't realize how good she is. And so sometimes we want to give 3 times fully. Yeah, so she's gone through it 3 times. Okay, I guessed correctly. So sometimes we need to give each other encouragement to help us see that we are progressing, that we are doing well. And it's all the effort that she has put in going through the course 3 times is producing results. Let's take a look. I sent to her a quilt panel. It's a yard of fabric. It's a whole yard. And I said, have fun. Create a theme and quilt it with what you know, what you've been practicing, and also use some of the designs that you've learned in the alphabet course. Okay, Patricia, yay, I'm so glad that you are going to get back to it. I'm sorry that you had challenges, and surgery is a big thing, and that was needed. So I'm glad you're going to get back when you are well. Practice, practice, practice. Exactly. So look at what Rochelle has accomplished. Look at the quilting. Beautiful. Look at the design work. Now, she has been sending me messages and updates for the past few months about her progress and different stages. And there will be a blog post about this, and so that you can get more information about her personal process. She uses software to preview designs, and she shared that with me. She made some decisions and then changed her mind, which is what I do. And so don't be afraid that if you start something and it's not working, to go in another direction. So she did that. And I love that she trusted her own instinct of what would work and what wouldn't. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Let's take a look at some of them up close. So here is one of the photos that she sent me where it's just the words. Love, peace, groovy. She outlined the words first and she did the flower first. Yes, it is beautiful. Beautiful work. Yes. This is Rochelle. She's gone through the course 3 times, which I have to mention to you, the course doesn't end. It's as long as I have my website up, which I tend to have it up there for as long as I can. I don't plan to close it. It's your course. So you can go back and I update the course. I added new videos at the beginning of this year. So you only have to sign up once and it's yours, and you can watch it over and over again. Yes, beautiful. Exactly, beautiful. So, what was the next thing that she did? Look at the detail. She's also benefited from Quilt Conversations Live. At Quilt Conversations Live, you can go back to my YouTube channel and look at the replays. I do discuss and give tips on different things with free motion quilting. And I can see that she was paying attention to some of those things, right? Beautiful quilting, Rochelle. Beautiful quilting. So let's see the next one. I just love what she did. Beautiful. It's layers and layers of quilting. I love how she put the circle off center. I love how she has the words on top of and in and intermingling with the scallops and the circle. It has dimension and layers to it. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's look at another photo. Did I show this one? I think, yeah, I showed that one. Let's show this one. Yes, you can see that again at the very top. Beautiful work. Rochelle, you should be so proud and pleased with your accomplishment. Yes, very unique. Very unique. So occasionally I will do this with some of my students. I will send batting and a top or something to you to quilt to help encourage you to go to the next level, to let you know that you can do it. You can. Sometimes we just need to have a little help, a little push, right? Yes, Rochelle. You're welcome. We're so pleased for you. Beautiful work. Maybe in the chat you can share a couple of things as we look at your quilt that inspired you to quilt what you did and how the alphabet course helped you in this process. And also Quilt Conversations Live. You know, sometimes we can see the work of others and think, wow, I can't do that, or how will I be able to do that? You know, let them know if you had any challenges and then how you conquered those challenges. What were your solutions? Hey, Denise, so glad that you're here. We're looking at Rochelle's quilt. Welcome, welcome. We're looking at some of the detail work that she did. This was a project that I sent to her uh, in an effort to encourage her to continue to spread her wings as a free motion quilter. She is an amazing quilter, and she is spotlighted on the website, which reminds me that any student that continues to go through the course and quilt quilts, and you send me the assignments, this is so important. When you take a class with me in person, you have me like when I was in New Orleans for 6 hours to ask questions, for me to help you. Well, once that's over, it's done. But if you take the course, the alphabet design course, you can submit assignments, you can ask questions all through the course, and I can help you on a continual basis as you go through the course. Yes, it is gorgeous. Madonna wants to know, Rochelle, if you're using a long arm or a sit down. So I think she's using her Bernina Q20 sit down long arm. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rochelle. They want to know what machine you used. How did you approach quilting a whole cloth? What tips do you have for your fellow quilters? Some of them in the chat are in the alphabet course, and they want your help, your suggestions on how to get the most out of the course. Okay, this is what Rochelle says. The biggest challenge was getting what was inside my head to come out through the project. So how did you do that? I think you said you used a software called Procreate to preview some of your design work. And so Rochelle says yes, she used her Q20 sit down long arm. Stop that right there. So, is that right, Rochelle? You used Procreate to help preview designs. And what were some of the lessons that you learned in working on this project? Every project, I learn a lesson of something that either I'm not going to do again or that I will repeat because it worked out well. So, what were some of the wins that you like? Yes, I'm so glad I did that. One of my favorite parts of your quilt is the background quilting that you chose. Those straight lines with the circles, I think, is so unique to the background. I love that addition. It helps focus, those straight lines help focus on the center design. I really like that. Ladies, do you have any other questions for Rochelle? Any other questions? Let us know. Okay. So there you saw part of Rochelle's journey. If you want to learn more, go to my website, machinequilting.live. Just go to machinequilting.live and look for Student Spotlight. There is a conversation between me and Rochelle about her machine quilting journey, and you'll see more of her quilts. Mm-hmm. So Rochelle says that she took a picture of the panel and saved it in Procreate, and then she could scribble on it till she had the courage to start. I love that. Now, did you also preview? I shouldn't say preview. Did you also practice on separate quilt sandwiches before you went to the quilt panel? There is, I encourage ladies that there is a process before you actually quilt your quilt, whether it's a quilt like the quilt behind me or a whole cloth. I always practice on a separate quilt sandwich, whatever design I'm going to quilt, first on that quilt sandwich before I go to the quilt. Always practice the technique, warm up. So I'm warming up with my meander. I'm listening to my machine. Is she happy? I've already set her up. My needle and thread combination are correct. My tension is all good. I'm warming up. All right, now I'm going to get the thread I'm going to use for the quilt. I'm going to practice the free motion quilting. Maybe I'm going to practice with paper and pen first or whiteboard to see if my hands remember the pattern. Then I'm going to take a small quilt sandwich and practice that pattern. So Rochelle says, I have a practice piece that that shall never see the light of day. Oh, Rochelle, I know what that's like. I have many of those. And those are important. Those are lessons that we learn. Those practice pieces are our building blocks. They really are. So I'm glad that you have some that won't see the light of day. I think that's encouraging. At least I hope so for those of you who are watching, that Rochelle, she had multiple levels of practice. One, she went through the course. She's gone through it 3 times. Second, she had a practice piece where she warmed up and she tried the different stitches. And then she previewed her ideas that she had in her head on a software called Procreate to preview how it would look in her quilt. Okay. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say, Pam. Appreciate that. I thought about doing audio books. I get that quite a bit. So now that I've said all this about free motion quilting made easy, I hope you are encouraged. Now, it's not that it is easy. I want to help you make it easier by those things that I suggested. That when we take those step by step and we work on those step by step, free motion quilting does become easier, but it still requires us to do the work. Rochelle has done the work. She continues to do the work. And that's why she has had success. So Rochelle says that she has one piece that is 40 inches square that is like her sandbox. It's a place for her to play. We should all have one of those where we just pull that out and we play, 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 play. Have playtime with free motion quilting. Oh, thank you, Walking in Faith Alone. I appreciate that. When we build our confidence with these types of practice methods, we won't be afraid to quilt our quilts. We will confidently move into newer techniques. And one of those techniques is acrylic ruler quilting. When I know how to set up my machine for free motion quilting, when I know what thread and needle I'm going to use, and I know how to use my machine, learning another free motion quilting technique, acrylic ruler quilting, is a technique. It's guided free motion quilting, guided with an acrylic template. We can increase our success. Now, we're not concentrating on the machine or thread or needle because we got that. We've been practicing. We know how to set up our machine. I'm ready now for ruler quilting. I'm ready. And for those of you who are ready, I am continuing to make courses on my website so that you can go to the next level in your quilting. And one is the Curve Ruler Quilting Challenge. The Curve Ruler Quilting Challenge is an opportunity to take curved rulers and quilt edge-to-edge designs, to quilt block-based designs, to quilt all your projects in all kinds of ways. And this one has been new for the last 4 months. Each month I released a new curve ruler course. Now for the month of May, I took all 4 of those and made it into one. Either you can get all 4 or you can do one course, the one you prefer. This is the squiggle ruler. And with the squiggle ruler, you're going to again get step-by-step instructions so that you could win at ruler quilting. You learn 3 different designs for every ruler, and for this one it is the Curves and Clams ruler kit. The Curves and Clams ruler kit, if you're not familiar with it, is this one by Bernina. It is one that can be used on a domestic machine and on a long arm. So 4 rulers, 4 different classes, but you learn 12 different designs. So the next one is the oval. That was just released, and I'm really excited about the oval designs. They are so amazing, so amazing. I love the oval designs and the technique. Notice the border on this. Those are half ovals. The ruler in this set has 4 different sizes, so you can make a 4-inch, a 3-inch, a 2-inch, and a 1-inch oval, and you can make multiple designs with it. Let's see. I love the rulers. I need to practice new ways to use them. Yes, they are fun. They are fun. That's why it's so important to get to know your machine, because once you know your machine, needles and thread, and you can free motion quilt, you are ready to explore and have fun with new techniques. And this is one of them. And for every single ruler in this set, you learn 3 different designs. And I walk you through it step by step. The video you're watching now is from the course. So I show you the ruler. There are the 4 different sizes. I show you exactly how to use that specific ruler. So it's no longer a mystery. You learn specific techniques. I go through it in detail. And then once we learn about the ruler, then I show you how to make beautiful designs. Step by step. Step by step. So after that, we have the S-curve ruler. The S-curve ruler in this set is an interesting ruler, which I've taken to another level with the designs. Notice how I've shown you the exact same quilt panel, all stitched with different rulers. The first was the squiggle, the next was the oval, and now it's the S-curve. Same quilt panel design, but stitched differently. That's the whole idea, is to practice your techniques and designs on something that is the same over and over again to see the difference, to see how one design looks from one thing to the next. So now you see the same panel with the oval design. And this is what Rochelle was talking about earlier, I think, is that when we have something in our head, how is it going to work on the actual quilt? What will it really look like? What will it look like? What is the difference between one design over another? Then again, step by step, I go through how to use this specific ruler, how to get the most out of it, how to use it to create different types of designs. Each ruler has its own specific benefits and challenges. And so I talk about that too. So I want you to be successful, and I show you exactly how to do it. Again, this is a video from the course. You learn step by step how to use the ruler. So the last one is the clamshell. Everyone loves the clamshell. These are all of the designs that you would learn if you took the bundle of all 4 classes. You learn all of these designs. They can be used for multiple projects, big quilts, small quilts, project bags, you name it, whatever you want. You have designs that suit almost any project. And again, step by step, I show you how to use that specific ruler, how to set it up, how to mark your quilts, how to create different designs for all types of areas in your quilt, edge to edge, borders, etc. So that is another way for you to win at machine quilting. We talked about free motion quilting, but some of you may not be beginners. So I wanted to share with you the next step. And for some of us, it's acrylic ruler quilting. And this summer, I plan to work on more courses for you. So stay tuned for that. If you're not on my email list, go to my website, join my email list so that you can get updates. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell. If you enjoyed today's session, make sure you give it a thumbs up. You give it a heart on Facebook. I'm so glad to share with you my passion, and that is machine quilting. And the other part of that passion is to help you go to the next step in your journey. The very last thing I'm going to share with you tonight is another opportunity to have fun with quilting. Maybe some of you have heard that I'm going to be on a quilting cruise. I'm teaching a quilting cruise. Did you hear about it? The Tropical Quilting Cruise. It's a retreat at sea, and I am privileged to be able to do this with 2 other quilters, Guyleen Fitzgerald and Latifa Safir. I am so excited about this opportunity. I'm going to teach several classes, three. We each teach three classes on this cruise. It's a Eastern Caribbean cruise. It's in November. Again, you can go to my website, machinequilting.live, look at the tab at the top and look under events to get the brochure for the cruise and learn about all the classes. Oh, you're welcome, Rochelle. You're very welcome. My pleasure. So we are already more than half full for the cruise. So that's kind of exciting. And just to give you a heads up, the three of us are going to be here on Quilt Conversations Live. The next Quilt Conversations Live is June 14th. Remember, I said that May and June I had to change up the schedule. So the next Quilt Conversations Live is June 14th. It will not be the first Friday, which is the normal time. It's normally the first and third Friday, but I had to change it because of other commitments. So June 14th, I'm going to have an opportunity to talk with Latifa and with Guyleen about their projects for the cruise and about the cruising experience and how we will be having meals together with the quilters. We'll be doing some excursions. We're going to have classes. And I've been giving you some teasers about some of my classes on the cruise. And one is called Sea and Sky Strata. The idea behind this is to take a beautiful sunrise or sunset photo while you're on the cruise, then using the colors from that photo to paint a watercolor. These were originally white fabric, and I painted them with watercolor pencils. It's a simple technique that is easy to do. You do not have to have experience. It is for any level of quilter. Then we stitch a beautiful sashiko design. And that's what you see here. Two examples of two different sashiko designs. This is not a machine class. This is a hand class. So we will paint with watercolor pencils. Then we will hand stitch a beautiful sashiko design. This is called Sea and Sky Strata. The next class is, let's see, that's the cruise. The next one is Peaceful Portrait. So the whole idea is that the cruise is not only a quilting cruise where you can get to take classes while we're sailing on the sea, but a vacation, a time of rest and relaxation. So some will bring family members, husbands, wives. You can bring your girlfriend, and they don't have to be a quilter. There is a different rate for the cost of the cruise. If you don't participate in the class, you save some money, and they can come and enjoy the cruise ship. They can enjoy the ports. There are going to be 5 different ports. So it's a vacation. So all the classes are structured so that they're for beginners. They're easy to do. They're supposed to be relaxing, and this is what Peaceful Portrait is. It's stitching some decorative stitching for the back, doing a little bit of free motion. If you don't want to do free motion, you can hand stitch the face. So the pink one with the black stitching, that was hand stitched. This is Peaceful Portrait. That's my other class. All right, ladies, I think we are done for tonight. I'm so glad that you were here to learn how free motion quilting can be easy as ABC, and to learn about more resources and opportunities for you to expand your machine quilting skills, but also to improve your experience with machine quilting. I can't wait to see you. Oh, I'm glad you like that. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Don't forget to connect with me on social and in class. Those of you that are in the alphabet design course, please submit your assignments. Let me know how you're doing. I can't wait to showcase your success here on Quilt Conversations Live, just like I did for Rochelle tonight. And again, congratulations to Rochelle. She is excelling at free motion quilting. She is not only learning the technique, she is now designing. She is designing and putting it in quilts. That's a big deal. She is learning how to take what's here, learning to practice, learning to audition different designs to see what works, and she is making the effort. She is doing the work and she is getting results. Yes, thank you. Great idea. Thank you, Walking in Faith Alone. Appreciate that. You're welcome, Madonna. And I can't wait to see you. You're going to be in my classes in September. So I'm glad to see you here tonight. Awesome, awesome. All right, ladies, have a wonderful weekend. See you next time for another Quilt Conversations Live.